right, today we're going to talk about properties, and we're going to start with the commutative property. You have to notice how it's spelled. It's not commutative, it's commutative property. And it just says the key word for commutative is order. It works for addition and multiplication. And it says that it doesn't matter if you change the order of the numbers, you still get the same answer. So if I had 3 plus 5, that's the same as 5 plus 3, 8 and 8. If I had 2 times 4, it's the same as 4 times 2, 8 and 8. So that's what the commutative property talks about. The next one is called the associative property. And the key word for associative property is like an association or a group of people. So the key word is grouping. And again, it works for addition and multiplication. So when I talk about the associative property, I can have 3 numbers. And on this side, I'm going to group the 2 and the 3 together. And on this side, I'm going to group the 3 and the 4 together. Over here, I get 5. Order of operations says do the parentheses first. 5 plus 4 is 9. Over here, I get 7 plus 2 is 9. So it works. It will only work if these are multiplied together or added together. It does not work for subtraction or division. Okay, the next property is called the distributive property. And we're going to spend the next 2 or 3 days talking about it. This is just a quickie on it. And just like its word implies, it's talking about distributing something. So if I had a stack of papers here and I wanted to distribute them to the class, 1 paper per student. If I had a group of kids over there and they only needed 1 paper, then it would be 1 paper for 4 students or 5. So you can distribute a group, you can distribute to a group. The distributive property just says that you're going to have a number that you're going to multiply by a sum or a product. So the best way I can show it to you is with an example. So A, B plus C, or A, B minus C. I'm going to show you exactly how it works in the next few days. But over here you can see that I'm distributing the A to the B and the A to the C. So I end up with AB plus AC. Over here I'm distributing it again to the A, but this time I'm subtracting it and distributing it to the C. Okay, the next property is called the additive identity. And the additive identity just says whenever you add 0 to a number, you get the number. So if you have 5 plus 0, you get 5. If you have -2 plus 0, you get -2. Okay, the next one is the multiplicative identity. Very similar to the additive identity. This is number 5, I believe. And the multiplicative identity just says that when you multiply a number by 1, you always get the number that you started from. So if I had 5 times 1, I get 5. And if I had -3 times 1, I get -3. So whatever I started with is what I end with. And the last property is the multiplicative property of 0, or the multiplication property of 0. And that just says whenever you multiply a number by 0, you get 0 for an answer. So if you have 5 times 0, you get 0. If you have -7 times 0, you get 0. So these are the properties just very quickly. And now the next, our next lesson is going to be on the distributive property and doing different levels of problems with the distributive property.